Hi, Liz Campbell. Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you, Trevor?
Very good. So for those of you watching this video today, this is a very quick interview with a person that I have a great deal of respect for and how they get results in their business. And I've known Liz for a long time, and seeing what she's doing, how she's doing it. My whole thing is about helping our good people out there to improve their results, to make their business work better, make their career work better, help them bring some more money in, help them help more clients, make their life, career, family work better. How's that sound, Liz?
Sounds like a plan to me.
I've got a joke for you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Why don't they play poker in Africa? Because there's too many cheaters. Okay, let's continue. All right, over to you, the word stylist. I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us a bit about you, where you started, how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, thank you. So hello everybody. My name's Liz Campbell and I am the word stylist, and I have a business called EC Writing Services. And I have loved writing ever since I was a little girl, like knee-high to a grasshopper. I've been talking, I've been telling stories, I've been writing. All through my life, I have written diaries, journals, to-do lists, songs, poetry, love letters. I've had pen pals ever since I can remember. You know, Trevor, when pen pals used to be a thing when we were kids, I don't even know if people still.
Yeah,
we used to
I used to write love letters to my girlfriends.
Yeah, I used to write love letters to my boyfriend. So writing has always been a thing. It's my, communication and having great conversations is one of my highest values. I put a lot of value, time and energy into doing that really well. But, apart from it starting when I was really little, and I tell the story of when I penned my very first book when I was 4, and it was a present to my mum, and mum had kept that book. It was about a runaway $1 coin, and it fell out of its owner's pocket, fell down a drain, ran out to sea, and had an amazing adventure with some sea creatures out there. Then it got washed back to shore, and it was found by a little girl. And I said to my mum, do you reckon that I lost $1 when I was a kid? And she was like, you did, and it fell down a drain. And we stopped a nice man in the street who lifted up the grate for us and got out your $1. And I just think that that's such a milestone moment in my life as a writer. I went on to be a journalist and editor, but that one little story was around money and writing. And then I would go off to have this colourful career earning money while writing, right? And it's just such a significant milestone for me. And it basically, that was just it. I became a published journalist when I was 14. I loved it from then on. I went and organised I was annoying. I went and organised my own work experience at different papers because I just loved it. And then from there it just stemmed. And I had a beautiful career with well-known news outlets and also, little smaller news outlets as well, magazines, newspapers, online, until I really couldn't do it anymore. The way that the media had gone for me was less about the writing and the telling of the stories and more about the bureaucratic red tape, getting the sales, how did my job fit into that? And that wasn't why I got into it. And so when I left, I just left in a blaze of glory, really. I had no real, desire to have a full-time business. I had a little side hustle that was just writing content for people, like websites and a few blogs and a bit of social media. And it wasn't until Mum said to me, well, why don't you just give the business a go? And I was like, oh yeah, why don't I just give the business a go? And literally that is how it started. The little side hustle started when somebody at my journalism job came in and said, can you write websites? And I'm like, I don't know, probably I can write news stories. So how about we just give it a go? And so that was literally my first client who stayed with me for the first few years. And then from there, I just went, all right, well, we do websites, blogs and social media. And that was it. And then we've been in business 5 years now. And did you know remember that. I know that is a major milestone in itself for small business, because
Oh yeah, definitely.
80% of businesses fail in their first 2 years, and only 50% of them make it to their 5-year mark. So, well done to all the people out there who are at the 5-year mark. Yay!
That's good.
Yeah.
So here you are now. Now I know though it hasn't been all smooth sailing. So one of the things for me is to, as we're chatting before, with the beautiful world of social media, everyone looks beautiful, everyone looks amazing, everyone's all sorted with great quotes and life's good, but we know it's not always quite the truth, right? Anyway, so Liz, give us a quick what happened, if it's okay. You don't have to go into any super, dark, detail, but what happened and what was the thing that you did and learned to get out of that maybe you now use to help your clients?
Yeah, there's been some significant things that have happened in that 5-year journey, and I know I'm not alone in this, but in business we kind of do feel like we are alone, and it's the worst feeling. So in my first 12 months of business, we were super successful. We grew the business really quickly. I had a team on board straight away, and then literally 1 year and 1 day after, 1 year and 1 week after, I went through a separation. So my marriage failed, and I was in business 1 year. Now you guys know what it's like when you've been in business for 1 year. You really have no idea what the hell is going on. It's like nothing you've ever done before. If you haven't grown up around it, like I never did, I came from a family of employees, and mum was with the government for a long time. So there's no one putting the paycheck in the account every Thursday, is there? That's it, right? It means and the thing that I found was like, oh my God, I actually have to know everything about this business. When I was in the media, I had a marketing department, I had an accounts department, I had managers, and I had a team and all of that.
Now you're all of it.
I know. And that's the thing, you go, but I just want to write.
I just want to be creative.
Yeah, I know, right? So that was learning number one, was just like, oh my God, I'm actually got to know everything. That's overwhelming in itself. Second thing was around the divorce, and going through something so stressful like that while you're trying to run a business, that most businesses fail. And thankfully, we were able to get through that and grow through that and grow the business through that. And I literally put that down to just being able to invest in growth, in your own personal growth. So I had a lot of counselling in that time. I had the support of my family and friends in that time. And even though some days were super dark and I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, just taking one little step, sending one email, if that's all I could manage, then that's all I did. And the best advice I got around the business and the divorce was from a business coach who said, Liz, it's now not time for you to be working on the business. It's time for you to be back in the business, and you just need to do 1 or 2 things every single day to keep it moving forward. And I was like, that's actually really good advice. And so that's what I did. And I felt like I lost my capacity to how when you're in the flow, everything just, you can get so much done. And when you're not, everything's really hard and you push it. And I just wasn't in the flow. So it was really hard for me to sometimes do anything more than send one email. Thankfully, I must have, manifested some good luck and good clients throughout that time, and we were able to grow. The other thing though too, that what I found really quickly was that even though we had systems and processes set up, they were so not designed for me to go through a divorce, that's for sure. So hence why I needed to be in the business again and be helping more so. The other thing too is that I got some really good advice recently around, depending on what your goal is for the business, if you want to grow it to a $250,000 business or $500,000 or $1 million or 10 million or whatever, you set the business up to achieve more than that so you can grow into it. And that was something that I didn't know because I've been in business 12 months. How the hell am I supposed to know that? You know, that wasn't something that I'd learned. But now I look at that and go, oh, that's actually really good advice. So setting up systems and processes and just things, team even, you know, like there was a company in the States that was a multi-million-dollar company. They grew so quickly to $1 billion company that they didn't have team systems and processes in place to grow to $1 billion company, and they almost went bankrupt. They couldn't pay their staff or any of their commissions out for 6 months while they tried to fix everything. And so that just like really hit home for me. It's like, all right, this year, in 5 years in business, we've now gone back through everything. We've got the right team. We've got the right systems, processes. We've got the funnel that we want to be working towards. We've got the model, all of that. Now I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing 5 years in, you know?
Yeah, it takes that long. Good on you.
Yeah.
So you said a couple of things, Liz, if I can jump in. And I hear you. I mean, not that I've got it all figured out, but the area that I work with, a lot of businesses, I do see how a lot of companies do grow to their own level of incompetence. And I heard another thing that you say, which, you know, regardless of whether it's us or someone else, one of the things that I see is, even with a lot of coaches and consultants, is for a business owner or someone who wants to play a better game, you've got to employ people to help you do that, because what I find is we all have these fear barriers. And I have someone that I work with, you know, and I have a great deal of respect for him because he represents a lot of the things that I'm working towards and wanting to attract. And what he does is push me past my fear barrier, because I know from experience for all of us, we have that barrier. And I say to people, find the money. I don't care if you are serious, it's not for everyone, but I do know to play that extraordinary game or fix things. So I just wanted to kind of summarize hearing what you said in all of that. So for you, Liz, sorry?
Oh, it's just so true. I can just say something on the team. Like last year, 2017, that was one of our record-breaking years, but because the business wasn't set up for growth, I thought we'd set it up well enough. But, you know, just hearing that piece of advice, if we wanted to reach 500,000, million, whatever, you grow up into it. So we set it down for like 500,000 or whatever. And then when we grew, it was like, bang, you hit the ceiling. But then like the thing is, because I got so busy and I didn't really look after what my position was within the business, I just sort of got any team on board. Like, yep, you'll do, because I need that whole field there. And can you do sales? Oh, no, not really. You're good at personal assistance. Okay, great. You can go into sales. You know, like it was just such a busy period of growth that 2016, 2017 it was, and that I didn't check out. I didn't take the time to just go, hang on a minute. What do I really want to happen here? Do I really need team members to help? Is it something that I can outsource? Do I actually even really need to be doing this stuff? And I suppose like that whole business planning thing came into play again, because we'd outgrown the original business plan done like 5 years ago that no one ever looks at. Now I actually have worked with a coach, and I really agree with you on, you know, you're working with people with your team, but also like make sure that you've got some sort of mentor that can help you in all the areas. Like you might need 5 different ones to help you across different areas, specifically around the business planning side of things. Like, you know, now we have a spiritual business plan that takes in the spiritual side as well as the business performance side, that makes me feel good about what we're doing, you know, so that we never go apart. We're always employing people that, you know, work in with that plan. They understand where we want to go. They understand all of our values. And I get that now. Way back in year 1, when I did it, you know, the business course around values, I was like, this is just weird. Why do I need to know this stuff, you know? And now there's such an emphasis on all of that, the values, the why, you know, all of it now. And it's like, oh, I finally get it. Like, yeah, this is awesome, you know?
Yeah, but it sounds like too, you know, it sounds like you've done a lot of work and a lot of hard work to do that. So, you know, good job. And Liz, what do you see is going on out there for people that you touch, work, connect with through what you do? You know, what's the truth of the matter out there that you see?
Yeah. The truth of the matter is I've really been finding that people are kind of a bit confused about what to do out there when it comes to content, when it comes to social media. Like, who am I supposed to be? Like, you know, I can't be myself. I've got to have this persona. Like you were saying, you know, like the basically the house, the white picket fence, the 3 kids and the dog, and that's what you portray. But in actual fact, what people really want is just the realness.
Yeah.
They just want you to show an element of yourself that is like where they're at right now, and be comfortable in being real about where you're at. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to, you know, tell everyone of your $1 billion debts and all this, unless you feel comfortable about it. It doesn't mean that you have to get on there and say that your marriage is failing and blah, 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 unless it's something that you feel comfortable about. And I always just say, when you're going to go and share a story, even if it's a rant or anything like that, to show the realness, just have a think about how personal do you want to go? Is it just 1 or 2 sentences? Or is it like, I'm going whole hog? Like, what I suggest to people is, like, if they're really unsure about how they're supposed to be, and it's the worst thing that when you have been following someone online for a while and we feel like we know them, then when we meet them in person and we get to know them and we go, hey, you're not like online.
Yeah, I see that, and I think, yeah, there's a lot that are like the same, but then there's some that's not. And yeah, the persona, right? Specifically, who are you helping, and where are you helping them?
Yeah, so we're helping business owners stand out from the crowd, basically, like transforming their business and their life through the power and beauty of words. That's how I like to explain it. Because I just think words are so powerful, and when they're written in the right context or they're spoken in the right context, they're so beautiful and elegant, and you can differentiate yourself from every other person, business, industry like you out there, simply through the way that you write. And I say write, but I mean like create.
I know, and I have to jump in and say, I've been building the Results Academy and the How to Sell with Skill, and your feedback just was such a great shift for me, because, you know, my background's, you know, corporate sales and marketing, and, you know, I see that, you know, what I now love, whether you realize you've done this or not, but, you know, it's so much nicer to be able to tell stories and, you know, share things from a different perspective, which I've just taken that on because I love it. It feels so much better. You know, my whole thing is the modern approach to selling and getting paid your worth. And it's not, you know, this is how we do it, this is what we do. I mean, it's kind of filtered in there, but I love the suggestions that you've made. So anyone that sees my videos and different bits and pieces, you know, Liz, while she may not realize it, you know, in one email, because I'm like, you know, I love that. And, you know, I don't know if you've seen it, but I'll send you to show you. But hey, Liz, and so it's copy on email, websites, all the stuff where people are communicating out to the world through copy and language. You're the, you know, as you say, you're the word stylist, right? So for someone, you know, obviously a lot of people in our community know you, but there's also a lot of people out there that don't know you. Where do they find you? What's the next step?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys, all you need to do is Google Elizabeth Campbell and I come up. However, you can go to my website, ecwritingservices.com, and all the things are there. All the pretty shiny things are there. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well, and I'd love you to follow. I'll always follow you guys back. I'm a sole believer in that. Like, when somebody does something for you, you do something back for them. And just let me know if you have any questions about content or content writing. I always do lives and videos over on my Facebook page. I'm always talking about it, because as I'm understanding from people, it is just content is a massive beast of a thing. Like, we need it. It helps out. I always say 95% of everything we do is around content and writing. And, you think about emails that you're sending, Trevor, even for your landing page and videos. But what about like the actual sales pack that you send out, the information pack that you send out to people? Like, how's that written? How's that coming across to people? And sometimes we're just way too close to it. And you just, with my own people to look over it for me and go, do you reckon this makes sense? Or I'll look back on something I did like a week ago and go, what the hell was I even trying to say there? There's just so much out there. Like you say, you've got to do emails, newsletters, social media, website, blog, everything, videos, podcasts, or everything I teach or everything I talk about runs across any form of content. So jump on my website, have a look, follow me on social, and just let me know if you've got any questions. I am so happy to answer them. If I don't know the answer,
because clearly you hate talking, right? So you'd hate chatting to anyone. So Liz, I'm going to close off this interview. Thank you so much for your time today. I know how busy you are. We all are. What is one thing that you think people are most afraid of that you want to help them with?
Yeah, putting themselves out there just that little bit more. How awesome we are. But there is actually ways that you can do that so that you come across as still being on the playing level of your peers without getting knocked down with tall poppy syndrome. And it's literally in the way that you position you and write your words. And, that's one of the biggest struggles that I see people having, is that they just, oh, but I put a post out last month. And I'm like, oh, but it's going to be gone. No one's going to remember it.
You've got to be on it. Yeah. And you don't have to be that jump around, I'm amazing, even though we're all amazing. But that's what I love about you. Well, thanks, Liz. It's been great. All the contact details I'll have here in the email. And we've got a big year ahead, right, Liz?
We sure do. I can't wait, Trevor. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.